Hello and welcome to another edition of Extra Connections. I'm James Lott Jr. here at JLJ Media, and we're all about connection. And this person has a foundation, she's a co-founder of it, that talks about connection also, connecting the right people to the right places. We're going to talk about that. It's the Ella Sports Foundation, or EYA Sports Foundation,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I have Latino, so I do know. Um, EYA is a nonprofit organization that helps young female athletes of Hispanic Latino descent to achieve their goal to attend college. That's a wonderful thing. What they do is they help offset some of the costs for the families, especially once you just don't have the money or enough money to do it. As we know, college is expensive. But their kids are good. They're good athletes. They can get in, but they need some help. So they help with the boost. The program also helps those to empower leadership. So now we're talking about working on their mental side and discipline amongst the athletes that will lead to a positive life outcome. Because, yes, we don't just want to send them off to college. We'll make sure they're ready and they're out there to handle all the challenges that happen. So we're going to talk more about this with Patty Godoy Travisio. How are you?
I'm doing good. Good. How are you?
Fine. So congratulations on your foundation. We think it's a great idea. And so because I know, okay, so I noticed it's Hispanic Latino because we know in our community, I'm also part of the community, there's different names. People go by different names. So you're like, anybody of that descent is welcome, right? Right? As long as they're female in that descent, they're available, you're ready to help. Uh,
Yes, and we're inclusive of actually all girls. We primarily help Latina and women of color, but we also are very inclusive of all girls that want to play sports.
oh, I like that. Of course, I like that. Okay. Well, I want to ask this just first off bat. Were you a sports person?
Yes, I was.
You were an athlete. Where did you play? What did you?
So I know it's my story is a bit so I came to this country when I was 12 years old. I was undocumented for 9 years, and when I played in high school, that's where I played softball, Hollywood High in LA,
Wait
Hollywood.
a minute. Wait a minute. I didn't see it on my sheet. You're from L.A. Wait a minute. You're from out here. I know that. I'm in L.A.
Yes, from LA, Hollywood High. That's where I went to high school. And I always say that sports was an outlet for me because we couldn't go freely to places. And so a lot of times for me, the only outlet I had was playing sports. And so I play softball. So I really value sports. And so I have four girls. And so my girls, I always thought, oh my God, I couldn't go further than high school because I had to work and go to school at the same time. But I couldn't play, post that, but I really, really wanted to. And I always think that sports has a lot of value for girls. It really helps with work ethics, responsibility. It helps to just set goals for you in life. So highly, highly, highly promoted. So that, yeah, so I do have a background, playing softball.
I know I had friends at Hollywood. I went to Inglewood High, but I know friends went to Hollywood High. I know friends went to Venice High. I know friends who, Hamilton, all these
Yeah.
schools out there. You're from out here. I love it.
Yes.
I'm sorry. When I read her bio, so I didn't see that part. So that makes me just kind of smile. Someone from out here. Um, when you, so what are a couple of things that you got out of playing sports as we get into this talk? What are a couple of things you got out of
So I quickly learned, to be responsible because we had to be on time. We had to have a structure, right? We had to practice. We had to play. We had to go to games, and on top of that, we had to keep our grades up because if you don't have good grades, you couldn't play. So it really gave me that autonomy and independence, and also an outlet to just kind of be myself and enjoy. I really truly enjoy playing the sport.
it? Yeah, teamwork. I played baseball, soccer. I mean, there's just like football. It's just like there's a camaraderie with your teammates.
That
Like,
belonging, that sense of like you belong to something. And like I said, being here and undocumented, couldn't go places, but I did have a team. I did have teammates, and they were very welcoming with me, and my coach was very welcoming too. But one of the things that it was really for me, I remember playing softball in the dirt, tennis shoes, because we couldn't afford, my parents couldn't afford cleats. And so I remember one year that somebody donated cleats for the two teams. And I got these beautiful pony shoot, cleats. And I was like, I treated them like gold. And I remember thinking, oh my God, it's so amazing. It just gave me that power, because for girls, that's one of the things that, if you look good, you're going to play good. And
yeah,
so when you, when you're playing in underserved communities, a lot of times you have the hand-me-down equipment. You don't have anything. And so you don't feel good about playing. But I remember that I felt like a superstar with those cleats.
Oh, it's true. I mean, when I was in Inglewood, it was a really bad neighborhood. It was very now it's a little different, but it was very much underserved.
Yeah.
There were times we had to share equipment together.
Yes.
You know how it was. Just things you couldn't.
You have to share sunblock.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
But the fun thing was you played other teams, other schools, and
Yeah.
now it's so big. We get to go other places now,
Yep.
right? That's so much fun.
Yes.
I love.
Yeah.
I do. I agree with you completely. That's great. So we got kind of okay. We got to go from there. Now we want to get from there. You have your daughters. Wait, four girls. I have two. I thought that was enough.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, four.
I know.
You are a strong woman. I'll say that you are a strong woman. All right. So did any of them start to show any interest in playing sports?
Yeah, so immediately for me it was like a no-brainer. I had to put them in sports, and I actually put all four girls in sports. But some tend to take it a little more serious than others. That is not sports is not for everybody, but they all played up until high school. But one of my daughters, my third girl, she tells me when she's 10 years old, I want to play college softball.
Okay.
So by that point, I was like, okay, how am I gonna help you? I don't know anything about how to get you there, but I'm gonna find out. I'm a nurse by training, so I went to nursing school, and by then I'm like, I know how to be a nurse, but I don't know how to get a child to college. So my husband and
You saved their
yeah,
lives. Just got to get
right.
all right.
So my husband and I, he played college, baseball. So he kind of knew a little bit of how it worked for boys, but he didn't know how it works for girls because it's very different. Like for boys, college, coaches go see them play at the high schools. Girls don't get seen like that. Girls have to go into a travel ball team that you have to pay a lot of money. And then you go and compete and have a showcase and invite these college coaches to go see you. So it's all about money and what you can afford. And so when she was 10, I was like, okay, I have to figure out how to get her there. We immediately started learning the whole process and I always call it a formula because every girl, especially in softball that gets recruited for college, is a formula you have to follow. There's a process you have to follow. And if by a certain age you don't meet those milestones, the less likely you're going to be exposed to a high quality, college or like a university.
Right.
So learning all these things, we learned it, and we were so grateful that we were able to learn the ropes of how to get her recruited. And so in her junior year of actually she was going into her senior year in high school, and she had been seen by a lot of universities, and she was getting offers left and right because again we knew the formula, we knew how to work that, and we realized, so at that point she gets an amazing offer for Cornell University, a D1, right? Ivy League,
Wow.
$80,000 a year. And we were just like, how did this happen? How can, how come, how did we get here? And so I remember really clearly on the way back from her official visit, because they invite her there, they wine and dine us there for her to go. And her and I sat there and thought, how did you get here? Like what stood you out of everybody else that is doing the same thing? What are some of the things? And I think a huge component was that we were full of information. We learned the formula, we learned how to do things. So we're like, we need to share this with other girls. We need to share this with our Latino community because not everybody's gonna have the same mom and dad that you have. So how can we tell that 6-year-old girl, if you want to go to an Ivy League school, you can go. You just have to make sure you follow these steps because we kept it also along the way. Like you have to have good grades. You have to make sure that you push yourself in school. So with her, it all fit in because she's not only was only athletically inclined, but she was also academically inclined. Like she really liked books and liked everything. So it kind of, matched. And so that's when the foundation was. I always say that's when Ella was born. Is when her and I we had this idea. It's like, how can we do this? How can we share this? Because one of the things that I realized too is that when I used to go see her play, she was the 1%. I tell everybody they know who her mom was because she's the only. I'm the only one that looked like her there. They knew. I don't know. I was sitting there at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. Who this woman with this
Yeah,
color hair
very
was.
white up
My
there.
daughter
I've been there. I know it's very white up there. Yes.
was. Yes. And so we decided, you know what, we need to spread the word. We need to, because it's all about knowledge. If you don't know, you're not gonna. We've encountered parents that they don't know that there's a scholarship money for girls when they play sports. They don't know that every school, even junior colleges, have money. They sometimes junior colleges even pay the girls to go play. So but this about knowledge, and so then we thought, you know what, we need to start this. And so Aya was born at that time, and we decided, well, how are we gonna get there? How are we gonna So we started thinking of what our values and mission was. And for us, a lot of times is, yeah, we want girls to. So basically, we Aya works in three principles. The first one is athletics. We want girls to start playing sports early in life, because that's one of the things too that we noticed, that what I've learned is that if my daughter wouldn't have started playing when she was 6 years old, and I wouldn't have been, of course, I had to pay for her to get trained here, extra classes here, because coaches at the park and rec level don't have the same training. They just, oh, throw the ball, but they don't tell them how to do it. They don't have that. So we decided, no, we're gonna get you a batting coach, a pitching coach. She had all kinds of, you know, but a lot of kids in the communities don't have that. So then one of the things that we know is that if girls start playing early in life and start getting exposed, they're going to be successful in that sport that they choose. And maybe they don't know what sport's going to be. Maybe they can try all the sports between the ages of, 6 and 10. But yeah, so with athletics, we want girls to have access to free sports, or low cost, but we want them to be able to access it. And so we provide a lot of clinics, free clinics or low cost clinics throughout. We go everywhere. And so in those clinics, we also bring out quality trainers. A lot of times we bring high school, college girls that are in college. They come and teach the girls how to play the sport. So that's with the athletics. The other one is education is huge for us. So we want to make sure that girls know that they have to get good grades. Girls know that we need to make sure we empower them to be leaders in their community, because with girls, it's not like they're all going to go pro, right? There's very minimum, I mean, very little number of girls that go there. But if they become leaders outside their sport, they're going to be successful women. And that's what we want. I right now, I'm a nursing director, and that's a passion for me to develop, just little leaders, because I always say that for me, I had a personal experience with leadership, because I was shy when I was little, and I didn't was afraid to do a lot of things, and so I had to teach myself how to be like how to be outspoken a little bit, and how to develop my leadership skills, because nobody taught me how to do it. And so for me, it's like that's one of the things too. My passion is to develop these little girls, so they can become these leaders, because I always say, for me, as a nursing director, I work in Men's Central Jail. That's my office. I am the nursing director of jail. And for me to be one of the only Latinas executives there is huge, because I'm just like, we need to have more women again. So we need to have more women represented there. We need to have more women that look like us there, so they can be making decisions that are affecting our patients. And so for me, we work on those leadership. We do workshops for girls from the ages of 8 to like college girls. We do workshops where we develop them as leaders. We give them different topics on how to set goals, how to professional development. It's one of the classes that we have. Racing girl athletes is another one of the workshops we have, because I always say that not every athlete is born. You always think, oh my God, a born athlete, but athletes can be made, especially it's kind of like we have to nurture them. We have to provide them with those opportunities. We have to provide them those resources, and also involving the families in this whole knowledge, because um, if they don't know, they're not going to, specifically with the cultural misconceptions we say that Latinos specifically have. I always say little boys are born with baseballs and balls in their cribs, like, oh my God, he's gonna be a baseball player. And little girls are like, no, go help your mom. No, don't touch the ball. That's for boys. And so we have to break that barrier. We have to be able to tell the parents, no, your girl can play sports too. And guess what? There's a lot of money for her to go to college. You don't have to even pay. Just have her throw a ball. Go have her help her with that. And so we do that. And then the third component of us, or key metric that we use, is the community. And with the community, we want to we provide equipment, free equipment to underserved communities. And my high school was one of actually the first high school that we donated for $5,000 worth of equipment because of the tennis shoes, the cleats that I was playing in. I was like, I have to go back and do that to my and so I went, but it was a sweet and sour like time for me because I was there very happy. There were 24 girls,
Wow.
20 Latinas, 4 African American. The sad thing about it was that it's the same issues and challenges they have now that they had when I went there. And I'm thinking it's so sad because I live in Burbank.
Yeah.
Burbank is completely different than Hollywood, and we're only 10 minutes
Right.
away.
Right.
I'm like, how can they still be behind so many years? Because there have people there that are just checking the boxes and not really investing in those youth. I had a little girl that came to me because I asked him, I said, how many of you are playing club softball? And I thought they're gonna raise their hands, at least half of them. And they were like, one little girl, nobody raised their hand. And one little girl came to me after and she said, I tried out for a club when I was 12. She goes, but I was competing with girls that had started playing when they were 6. So she goes, my level of play at 12 was here and theirs was here. And
Yeah.
that's the gap that we need to bridge. That's the gap that we need to, with these programs that we have, we're hoping to bridge that gap where everybody has access to sport and free sport because that's money, right? My daughter got better because I had the money to be paying for all those classes for her. Um, so yeah, and so also with community, so we do the sports donation, the equipment donation, but we also are developing our what we call EYA ambassadors. And EYA ambassadors are girls of any age. I have the youngest ones that we have at 8 years old, and the oldest are in college. And basically, with these ladies, what we do is that we I use them as kind of like our eyes in their communities so we can help them because I cannot be in every community in LA County or in the United States, right? So we have to have eyes somewhere else where they are seeing a need and they can create and we can work together to create a change. And so a lot of times it could be fundraising for something that they want to do for high school, or it could be providing free classes to little girls just to teach them how to play softball. So it could be anything, could be any idea. And we have it in different sports. We had a boxer that created like in Riverside, that created a self-defense class. And it was so cute because she and her dad and then her instructor were giving, classes on how to, do self-defense. And we came over, we provided the rink for them and we gave them free little pink gloves. And it was so cute. It was so energetic. But they got introduced to the sport of boxing, something that maybe they never thought they could do. And yeah, so we do that with the ambassador program. So we try to, those are the 3 things that we do within EYA, where we try to fit all our programs through those key metrics that we use.
But the thing is, I think we have to remember out there, just anybody, not to assume everybody knows everything.
Yes.
That you just basically, that's something I say all the time. I'm still fighting things out. I go, apps exist. Like we just don't know everything.
Yeah.
And I'm always told there's money out there. You're always told that, but you may not know that. You may think, well, it's the end of the line. I think, well, the school isn't telling me anything, and
Yeah.
this isn't telling me anything, right? They're not telling me. So I don't. Maybe none of my friends. We all think the same way. We don't know. So something like this, we say, hey, folks, there are programs. There is money to be had. And so now, by you being on the show, we can say AI is one of those such programs. It's like I said, and we'll let you know what's out there. I mean, it's just kind of like we can't assume folks know everything. And it's not anything bad on you at home. Just that it's just you just may not know.
And sometimes I don't have the time. You have if you have working like parents that are working the whole time and they work long hours, and you have kids that are younger. It's like they don't know, and maybe they just don't know that even is a possibility.
Yeah.
I know for a fact, initially when my daughter was thinking or being looked at the Ivy League schools, a lot of people would say, but they don't give scholarships, and it's true, they don't give scholarships, but they give something better that is an award. It's a gift. A scholarship, kids have to work. I
Right.
mean, like not work, but play the sport and do that. But with an award, if the second year that you're there, you're like, I don't want to play anymore, you still get that award every year you're there. So those are things that I didn't know, and a lot of people don't know that. And again, because we don't ask or because it's never happened that came
Yes,
to us.
you make a point. This may be a first generation person going to college. So a
Yeah.
parent and grandparent may just not, they didn't go to college, so they don't know. I mean, they just may not even know or to have time to do the research to figure out. As a first generation, we have a lot of first gen out there,
Hmm.
good parents and grandparents, or just people who just didn't go to college.
Yeah.
They don't know. And you mentioned community college. Come on, folks. There's some great community college programs out there too for sports that you have no idea. If you can't go to this big one yet, go here first.
Yeah.
And right, it's all kind of programs all over the place
Hmm.
like
Yeah,
that.
and some sports actually like soccer, they try to sometimes push the girls to go pro at 16
Wow.
instead of offering them to, go to college first because they should go to college. You should get that they're too young to go pro, at that age. And so what happens if they get hurt, during that? Like they're not gonna have a career. They're not gonna have a degree. And so those are the things that a lot of times that when they come to us for advice, or we tell them that we say, what, depends on the sport, but this is some of the sports you have to be always try to go to college. Like, that's going to be with you your whole life, that degree. So, if you can get it for free, it's even better.
Yes, I have lots of letters after my name. I love my letters. I celebrate my letters. I worked hard for them letters. I paid for them letters. Yeah, so I love my letters, and that's it's very cool because again, for some people who may be watching this, almost forget there's a whole female sports program out there, and on this network we have two college women's basketball podcasts.
Oh, nice.
They're very successful. One's for Rose Home in Tech, which is in Indiana, and that team is they're good. So I'm just telling you, there's softball, there's basketball, there's soccer, there's water polo, there's volleyball. There's a lot of stuff out there for women. They're playing at these amazing levels. You can watch. I mean, not just at the Olympics. You can go outside sometimes here in LA. Go out to Venice Beach or Manhattan Beach, and you can see them
Yeah.
people playing, and it's amazing. These women are just like these girls and women are just amazing. They're better than I am. I can't play that good anymore. Whew. Tennis or any of those things. I mean, just there's a lot of it's almost like you said the default is men sports.
Yeah.
Well, there's also women sports.
Yeah.
There's both, kind of thing. So when did you realize you could make this into some kind of workable foundation? Because starting a foundation isn't easy. Well, starting any kind of business isn't easy, but what made you decide? Because you said you're a nurse. I'm also a former nurse myself. So
Ah.
I was an LVN. But no, so how did you decide, okay, while I'm working and making money as a nurse, I'm going to also start a foundation? Kind of how that, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it was I know that we're very passionate. I think our family, because even my youngest daughter, we drag her along. We say free labor for her because you know, she helps us a lot. Sorry, I'm some more.
Oh, yeah, please have some water. That's right, have some water.
Um, so what we did is that we had the idea and we're just like, well, how are we gonna make this happen? We had to become a nonprofit first, and then we had to figure out how to we're gonna be able to get money, and that's the hardest thing, right? And especially because when we started 2019, right before COVID,
Oh,
and our letter of like, oh, you're a nonprofit,
uh,
and then COVID happens. That happened in September. That
uh,
we got our letter and we're just like so excited. And the new year, we're just like, okay, we're gonna start working hard. January, February, and then March, we're like, okay, what do we do now?
oh, I know.
I know one of the greatest things is that for us, and I always say this, Nike came knocking on our door, literally. I got a call and I thought it was like, I thought, oh my God, because we weren't thinking that AI had a future after COVID, because we're just like, people are like struggling. Like, how are we gonna come now and ask people for money, or how are we gonna be doing this? Um, so Nike came, and basically the call that I got, I thought it was like a scam, and then realized, oh, it's not a scam. So they gave us our first donation. And it was basically a donation of just like, here's some money, do whatever you can with it. It wasn't a grant. It was more like they call it an in-kind donation. Um, but they believed in our mission and they believed in what we stood for, and they knew that there wasn't another organization like ours anywhere in LA where you're thinking 48% of the population is Latino, and you don't have an organization that pushes girls to play sports. So they have been since then, we're going in 5 years now, have been our constant, whether they're taking us basically under their wings, and whether it is with money or donations or just connections also. They've been very helpful because after that, and once you have the Nike stamp, right, it's kind of like everybody's gonna be like, oh, you got a donation from or a grant from Nike. That means they trust you. And so we've had, Gatorade, we had the Sporting Good, we've had a few other companies, but it's tough because I have a full-time job.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm a mother of four, so it's always busy. But because I'm passionate about it, I make time. So the weekends are the times where it's like, and after work is the time when I'm like, okay, we're gonna spend 2, 3 hours. Whether the first year I was doing Instagram, I was doing the newsletter, I was doing all the emails, I was doing write grant writing, everything. And little by little, we've been trying to get people to help us, but we run mostly off like people that volunteer. But we do have people that we paid as well, depending on the grants, because that's the other thing. I had to learn a lot about and grant writing as
Oh,
well, because they're very specific, right, into what
yes.
the grant's going to be used for, and you need to have all the supporting documents. And so there's a lot that goes on. But again, I think when you're passionate about something, and I've seen the effect that it has had in our community because I have seen it with my own eyes.
Okay.
Just this week, we're going to go to this is called honor roll camp, where the company give us a few discounted, um, like we call it scholarships, but it's basically free. The camp is about $1,000
Okay.
for these girls to go in front of Ivy League and D3 and D2 college universities, right?
Yes. Yeah.
$1,000, right? And so people that have the money are gonna go and send their kids.
Right.
I have to tell you, I couldn't tell my daughter. I was like, $1,000 for
Right.
I
Right.
can afford that for just one camp. Um, but this company has believed in our mission and vision and has really wants to help the Latino community, that they have started to give us discounted codes. So some of our people that we refer, they get it either for free or they get a huge over 70% off the camp. Basically, they pay not even $200. And so a lot of kids have been recruited from these camps to go play at universities.
Okay.
And
Okay.
kids, these families come back and with tears. We had a family every time we attend. I think we're gonna have a good like 20 girls this camp this week that are coming from us. And the parents come to us and they're in tears, literally, like they're so grateful that we've been able to allow them because they wouldn't have been able to afford that camp.
Oh,
And so things like that, that you do along the way, that that you find people and their I always say that qualitative data, because this is just their stories that they share with you is what keeps us going. What sometimes when I've been like, oh my God, I have to write this report, I have to do this, and it's a Friday, I'm tired I worked 10 hours a day, so it's like
right.
I come home and I'm exhausted. I'm like, okay, this, it's for the girls. There's a reason why we're doing that. And my goal is one day, I'm like, if I can hire a CEO to run it, it would be
Yes.
amazing.
Yes. Exactly.
That,
Yes.
that would
Yes.
be amazing.
But it's for the girls. It's like
Yeah.
that, and that is like it's almost like and everybody's like numbers, numbers, numbers. But you're saying, but it's people, people, people.
That's stories.
It's the
Yes.
stories. It's the tears. It's
Yes.
the tears. It's all
Yeah.
of that. You're going. I'm seeing it in right in front of me.
Yeah.
Someone gets accepted and they can't believe it, and their lives are changed forever.
Yeah.
That's the win.
There's a story that CBS did on us, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago on Hispanic Heritage Month. I think it was 22. And whenever I saw it's on our website, and every time that I play that story, because it's a little segment they did, I get teary-eyed because we have a lot of girls that are interview there. And just the things that they say, I'm just like, oh my God, that's incredible. Those are the words that are so impactful,
And
you
those
know,
and those are the reason
families.
why we get up in the morning to do.
Exactly.
I mean, it's. I always say you have to invest back in your community. You just have to. That's
Yeah.
what we live.
Yeah.
You know, you got to give back, and I think what you're doing is you're giving back. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's the aliasportsfoundation.org. I will put that in the descriptions below. They're also on Facebook or X. We call it X now. Foundation, yeah. And also Instagram, Alia_sports_foundation. Follow them, follow them, follow them. Check out their website. Check out what they're doing and what they may be able to help you, your daughters or nieces or granddaughters or whoever. Like, check it out. At least get information. Go there and get information. Contact her, talk to her, just see what's going on. Or if you want to help them, right? Because you're a nonprofit, right? If
Yes.
you want to give a gift to a nonprofit, think
Yeah.
about them too. Because again, we're what they're doing is they're giving us productive members of society, which is what we want. Well-rounded members of society. And I always say sports, the arts, all these things are great things for kids, and they're great things for teenagers, and they're great things for young people. It's been proven it makes them just better in so many ways, and just in life. It's helped us both out. We're both great people. Me and Patty are good people.
Yes.
Sports in our life and arts in our life and everything. So yes, so it's good. Thank you for coming on the show.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate you helping us spread the word.
My pleasure. You're welcome to come back anytime. So, folks, again, it's the Aya Sports Foundation .org. Again, everything will be underneath the video and underneath the audio, so you can go there, click on it, see what's going on with them. I'm James Lott Jr. We're everywhere. Extra Connections on Facebook. We're everywhere else. And we're here trying to connect people. That's what we're trying to do. And hopefully this will be a new connection for you. We'll take everybody. We're here on Wednesdays. We'll talk to you next time.